Hello teacher, hello students. Welcome to today's lesson. Students, in our previous lesson, we have learned about forms of money in Ethiopia. We use 3 forms of money in Ethiopia. These include cents, paper money, and checking deposits or demand deposits. Money cents include 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, and 1 birr. Paper money includes 1 birr, 5 birr, 10 birr, 50 birr, and 100 birr. Checking deposits or demand deposits also include money kept in checking accounts in a bank. In today's lesson, we will discuss source of capital for investments. Most companies try to finance the operation of their enterprises by different ways. Some may finance by investing their profits from ongoing operation. This method of financing is a sound and more stable method of financing to establish business organization. Other companies may finance their operations from outside sources, like by taking loan from different lenders. As money is required for investments, it is important to understand what investment is. As a first exercise, discuss with the students sitting next to you and try explaining the meaning of investments in business. Get ready for the first exercise. Explain the meaning of investments in business. Students, have you tried to define investment? Good. Investment is defined as the amount of money used to buy inputs, supplies, machines, different equipments and machineries which are used in production or merchandise to be used to consumers. Students, there are two major sources of capital for investment. These are equity financing or owner's contributions and debt financing. Equity financing is a method in which funds are raised through the contribution of the business owners. It is the amount of money that you and/or your partners put into the business or raise from other investors. In equity financing, funds are raised by different methods. Funds may be raised by selling the portion of ownership or equity. It may be raised through selling stock to shareholders in the corporation. Funds may be raised by inviting new partners in partnership, and funds may also be raised by selling the collateral property. When funds are raised by inviting new partners in the partnership form, the original owners of the business should agree to share the following: the ownership form, the business risk, the total profits and liabilities of a business. Now, I want you to do the following exercise, which is related to source of capital. Do the exercise by discussing with the students sitting next to you. Get ready. Describe the sources of capital for investments which are common in your locality. Students, as you may correctly identify during your group exercise, there are different ways of raising capitals to start a business in your locality. The following are some of the possible answers. Finance for investments may be raised by saving money in cash, by taking loan from friends and families, by taking credit from credit association, and by taking loan from banks. Students, equity financing has its own advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage of equity financing is complete ownership of profits. All profits produced by a business should belong to the business owner. The second advantage of equity financing is stable operation. Business with a high proportion of equity financing is generally more stable. The other advantage of equity financing is that there is no interest charged. There is no interest charge to be paid in an economic slump when sales and revenues may be reduced. Students, equity financing has disadvantage too. Capital needs of business vary over time. If the requirements decrease, invested money may remain idle and does not produce income. The second disadvantage of equity financing is that greater total investment by owners is required to maintain a given scope of operations. When little or no borrowed money is used, the scope of operation will be limited. Now I want you to do the last exercise with your previous group. Get ready. Describe the different ways of equity financing. Students, there are different ways of raising funds through equity financing. These include selling the portion of business ownership, selling stock to shareholders in corporation, inviting new partners in partnership are some possible alternative ways of equity financing. Students, I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. Let's conclude today's lesson by summarizing the main points. Today, we have discussed source of capital for investment, particularly equity financing. Equity financing is one way of source of capital for investments in which funds are raised through the contribution of the business owners. There are different methods of equity financing. Funds may be raised by selling the portion of ownership or equity. It may be raised through selling stock to shareholders in the corporation. Funds may be raised by inviting new partners in partnership, and funds may also be raised by selling the collateral property. In the next lesson, we will learn about debt financing. This brings us to the end of today's lesson. Until then, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students. Goodbye.